you for coming. I'm so happy to see all of you. I hope that you all had a wonderful week. I know that I did. Every day is truly a gift. So now, today, as you know, we will be discussing the book Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. Now let's all be honest Olgas here, okay? Alright, did everyone read the book?
Well, I actually finished this the very first day that I got it.
Very impressive, Shelly. You must have really enjoyed this book.
I did read it. Unfortunately, it was really hard. All the characters were just very unrelatable, and I can't confirm this, but I'm pretty sure they all had bad breath.
What an interesting take, Sharon. Thank you for sharing.
I don't want you to do that again.
Okay.
I swear on my life that I read this book.
I do believe you, Charlie. Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and begin our book club by doing a tradition of opening a bottle of vino tinto. Okay, everyone? And today I will be having my wine in this mug here. I thought that would be a strange thing to do, and Eleanor herself is quite strange, so.
Eleanor is not someone that you should be emulating, in my opinion.
So today I did go ahead and purchase the group a Malbec. It is from Argentina. Now I have never tried this one. Have any of you tried this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So. Alrighty, so now that we are all cozied up with our drinks, let's go ahead and begin by just, getting the gossip out of the way, okay? Alright, is there anyone here who would like to share anything new or exciting going on in their lives?
Okay, well, I think that I am ready to try kimchi. Yeah, it's been a couple of years that I wanted to try it. Be a little adventurous, I just think that I'm ready. Oh, and my neighbor, I think, has been stealing my mail. So I have started taking theirs as well to, kind of send them a message. And, it's really funny because, never mind. Sharon, what's your thing? Well, there's this guy that I work with, and I really, really like him, but, there's just one problem.
Oh, Sharon, you're finally opening up to us, darling. Yes, please tell us.
His name is Nanya.
You really have
Oh my goodness. No, really, guys. I promise. I mean, you all know that my last name is Business, and that if I were to ever get married to someone, that I would want them to take my last name, and I just feel like it's not meant to be. Well, I think that you should go for it, as long as his middle name isn't
Language, Shelly. Language.
Sorry. Jane, what's been going on with you?
Well, I am very excited to share with you all that I have actually invested in Fedora Coin, and let's just say I am able to retire now. You go, Jane.
Awesome.
Well, enough about me. Let's go ahead and talk about Eleanor. Now, I did bring an extra copy. I know sometimes we can be forgetful. I myself can also be forgetful, so if there's any of you who forgot to bring a book, I have an extra copy here.
I didn't forget mine. I did burn it. I never wanted to see that book again, but I guess for the sake of our book club, I would like to borrow your extra copy.
Oh, yes, of course, here.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get this kicked off. Now, once again, the title is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, okay? Now, let's go ahead and discuss what you thought about the title before you read the book, and also after you completed reading the book, okay? Let's discuss. Alright? Yes, Charlie. You look like you have a lot to say. What is it?
Well, I feel like obviously the title implies that Eleanor is actually not okay. just didn't know in what ways or, to what extent. I believe that as the story progressed, my perception of Eleanor changed, and I feel fairly confident saying that I think all of you can agree that it changed for you as well. At first, Eleanor reminded me of my neighbor who has been stealing my mail. Allegedly. But I digress. She was just so socially inept and, awkward, lacking in so many basic social skills that it had pretty much gone past the point of absolution. And especially if you all refer to page 16 of it here. The part where she was wax bald and then got upset even though that is what she asked for unintentionally. Did you want me to do a reading? Okay. It was after that point with the waxing salon that I thought, I am done with Eleanor, right? But I stuck with it. I continued. I read the whole book and she grew on me. Eleanor is actually very funny. She's a very funny woman, and it's not always intentional. But, there were times I was reading and I was smiling, or I was even, laughing out loud. Her persona had changed in my mind the more that I learned about her. She didn't put a face on for anybody the way that we do sometimes with each other. Eleanor didn't do that. And to me, that was really endearing. As you all know, sometimes it does get a little bit tiring to put on a face or smile when you don't want to. And Eleanor was not about that. I found it charming. And then she became an utter mess. Absolutely. I totally agree with what Charlie said. Day one, the day that I read this whole book in, it was so many emotions that I went through. Can you believe that? It was like emotional whiplash. Guys, I can read really, really quickly. Sharon, why don't you go ahead and give us your input? You have such a divine way with words. Okay, well, if we're all still being honest, Olgas, I thought that this girl was mental from beginning all the way until the end. She simply has no social skills and what little emotion she tends to exhibit, she suppresses it with alcohol, and I can't relate to that. Either way, I think the title was fitting. The story and my opinion of that didn't change.
Well, that is very interesting, all of your opinions. You know, everything that everyone said in some form or fashion did resonate with me. You know, at the beginning of the book, you definitely just get this sense that Eleanor is, you know, a weirdo. Yeah. She definitely won me over with time and getting to understand her, and I definitely felt her despair in her greatest time of need. And Eleanor was simply a person who was running on just emotional E, which is something that even I myself experience from time to time, but with a wonderful support system like you ladies, you know, I really feel like I can handle anything.
Aw, cheers!
Cheers.
Cheers!
Okay, now, so the next thing I would like for us all to discuss is, interestingly, what do you think Raymond found appealing about Eleanor? And furthermore, what do you think it was about Raymond that she felt comfortable enough to start opening up to him? We all know she was a bit uncomfortable and hesitant at first, but their relationship did flourish. Yes, Shelly, let's go ahead and start off with you, sweetie, okay?
Well, honestly, Jane, first of all, what a wonderful question. Truly, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for asking that question. It truly is really well thought out, and thank you. Okay, well, I think that Raymond was, first attracted to Eleanor because, she was not someone who felt the need to impress anybody, right? She wasn't trying. And Raymond, let's be honest, was a man that women did not care to impress. So, it was a match. And, I think that Raymond, he was also able to, take Eleanor away from certain things and routines in her life. He was able to show her a bit of, the human experience. And I think she truly treasured that. And I will say, on that day that she missed her phone call with her mother, I think that truly, awoken something in her and, began her process of emancipation.
Now, when you say emancipation, do you mean that in a literal sense or metaphorical?
Both. Sharon, can you back me up, girl? No, I think that Raymond became involved in this platonic relationship because Eleanor was low maintenance, okay? I think that he would do anything to avoid a messy woman. And at the time that he met Eleanor, she was the embodiment of little to no emotion, which was perfect for him. Throughout the story, throughout this whole book, Raymond is just saying over and over how he isn't into high maintenance women. And what did he do? He starts dating a high maintenance woman. Interesting. Raymond is nothing but a mama's boy. And Eleanor, don't even get me started on Eleanor. Okay, let's get started. I think that Eleanor was attracted to Raymond and opened up to him because he was a bit reprimanding, like her mother, okay? It was a weird crutch system. He was a bit reprimanding when that old man fell down, and she wasn't responding appropriately to that. And while we're on talking about how predictable this book is, all of you, let's all turn to page 40, will we? Okay. Then I felt bad. Even alcoholics deserve help, I suppose, although they should get drunk at home, like I do, so that they don't have to cause anyone else any trouble. But then, not everyone is as sensible and considerate as me. Foreshadowing? No. Sharon, you have actually brought up a wonderful point that has never even crossed my mind. You are truly an incorrigible gem. That's actually my gamer tag. So let me just go ahead and contradict you for a second. Is that okay? Also, you still haven't accepted my friend request on Steam. But anyways, I think that the reason Raymond was so attracted to platonically, I think the reason he was attracted to Eleanor was because deep down inside, Raymond was a softie, okay? His mother essentially alluded to that at the beginning of the book, so we had that information. And Raymond, in my mind, is someone who is very kind, but he didn't know it. I feel like we have all encountered these people that may seem to have a bit of an exterior, but are incredibly humanitarian and they have no idea. I think that's what Raymond was. I think that Raymond is a healing person, and I believe that healing people can attract people who need healing. And I also believe that Eleanor opened up to Raymond for a few reasons. At work, you heard how her co-workers would snicker and essentially laugh about her behind her back. Also, within earshot, laughing about things that she did that were considered social faux pas, but in her mind, in my mind, they seemed reasonable. And Raymond never did that to her. He didn't snicker behind her back. He also wasn't overly emotional. I think that with Eleanor's personality, he exhibited just the right amount of emotion. Not withholding, but also not overly gushy. I think they made quite the platonic match. Very compatible in that sense. And every time he made a gesture of kindness to her, no matter how small, you could truly get a sense that she was a neglected person. And I would like to share a piece with you all, if that's okay, that kind of weighed on me now that I've brought you all to this topic. I will be turning to page 226. There have been times when I felt that I might die of loneliness. People sometimes say that they might die of boredom, that they're dying for a cup of tea, but for me, dying of loneliness was not a hyperbole. When I feel like that, my head drops and my shoulders slump and I ache. I physically ache for human contact. I truly feel that I might tumble to the ground and pass away if someone doesn't hold me, touch me. I don't mean a lover. This recent madness aside, I had long since given up on any notion that any person might love me that way. But simply as a human being, the scalp massage of the hairdressers, the flu jab I had last winter, the only time I experience touch is from people whom I am paying. And they are almost always wearing disposable gloves at the time. Thank you. I know there are some pretty heavy parts of this story that kind of weighed on us, I imagine. And, there are times that I think if Eleanor was someone who was in my life, would I have been a positive person in her life? Would I have been giving her positivity? And it's really hard to say, but the answer is yes. But honestly,
I think sometimes in our day-to-day life, we forget that everyone has a story. Yeah. Okay, now I would like to end our group chat about the book on a somewhat lighter note, okay? So you all received my email earlier. I told you to come prepared. I wanted you all to do a reading about the funniest part in the book that was funniest to you, okay? And I'm a little excited, so if it is okay with all of you, I would like to go first.
Yeah.
So first of all, I found Eleanor's encounter at Nails, etc. to be hilarious from start to finish, but here's my excerpt. Everyone, if you wanted to follow along with me, I will be reading from page 109. So once again, Eleanor is at the nail salon. She advised me of the price. It was frankly extortionate. I have a leaflet, I said. She nodded, not even asking to check it, and deducted the requisite 1/3, stating the revised amount, which still left me reeling. I reached for my shopper. She said, "Stop," in a very alarming fashion. I did. "You'll smudge them," she said. She leaned forward. "I'll get your purse out for you, if you like." I was concerned that this might be some elaborate ruse to part me from even more of my hard-earned cash. So I watched her like a proverbial hawk as she reached inside my bag. Too late. I remembered the unfinished remains of the egg sandwich which lay within. She gagged ostentatiously as she removed my purse. A slight overreaction, I felt. Yes, the odor which escaped was somewhat sulphurous, but still no need for pantomime. I kept my eyes fixed on her fingers, unpainted, I noticed, as she extracted the required notes and replaced the purse in the shopper very carefully. I stood up, ready to take my leave. Her erstwhile companion had returned and cast a glance at my hands, their tips gleaming green. "Nice," she said, her tone and body language implying strongly that she had little interest in the topic. Casey became slightly more animated. "Would you like a loyalty card?" she said. "Have 5 manicures and the 6th one is free." "No, thank you," I said. "I shan't be having a manicure again. I can do the same thing myself at home better for nothing." And that was truly my parts that made me laugh out loud. I for sure thought, wow, She really roasted those ladies, and also what a nut job. So, now who would like to go next? I would like to share, I think my favorite part is when her houseplant Polly died. Ugh. Oh, wait, I promise. I'll be good. I'll be good. Alright? Don't spill my drink. I am going to be reading from page 51. I memorized it for the group, of course. A philosophical question. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? And if a woman who's wholly alone occasionally talks to a potted plant, is she certifiable? I'm confident that it is perfectly normal to talk to oneself occasionally. It's not as though I'm expecting a reply. I'm fully aware that Polly is a houseplant. I thought that was really funny. She obviously knew she was a nutcase and kind of liked to play around with that. And I thought that was kind of cool. You know, I thought her attachment to her houseplant was pretty funny and kind of sad. You know, she was pretty lonely, and this book, it didn't make me cry, so. Charlie, you go. Well, I think that Sharon is being a lying liar. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to my topic. So, I really enjoyed the part where she went to the musician's residence. I mean, how crazy. She had a crush on someone that she's never really spoken to and went to their house, and that is something I would never do. I just think that the fact that Eleanor has fallen for this guy is just wild to me, you know. She is incredibly intelligent, and, you know, we all see it. This person that she is infatuated with is not a compatible match with her, and you can just see her connecting dots that, you know, they're simply not there. And I think I have been guilty of connecting a dot or two that maybe wasn't there, and you know, should I just go ahead and ask my neighbor out? Jane, what do you think? You should see a therapist, Charlie. It's my turn. Okay. What I thought was really funny is her infatuation with Tesco. And you want an honest Oliphant? Okay, I didn't read the book. You always do this, Shelly. You are so funny. You're like my least favorite in this group. But in all fairness, I love all of you a lot.
Get over here. Give me a hug. Come here. Hi.